Welcome back to the Two Birds, One Stone podcast, episode number 20. My brother Trent, happy Wednesday. How are we feeling?
Happy Wednesday, little bro. It's playoff week. So we
playoffs.
Playoffs. Talking about playoffs.
We'll talk about playoffs.
That's so overdone.
That's funny,
this time
dude.
Of the year, dude. It's everywhere now.
That's funny.
Playoff week. We got a guest, AZ Sports Fiend, Mac on Twitter, part
Mac
of the
and
Redbird
Cheese.
Red Zone podcast.
I
Yes,
call
you
him.
called him Mac and Cheese.
Mac
He
and
thought that was fucking hilarious. He couldn't stop laughing. I didn't think we were going to be able to start the show.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
wild.
It was he overdid it a little bit, but it was good.
So we'll get to that here. We're going to do a little walk through JJ Watt. It is press conference today. I think a lot of us kind of expected him to come out and be like, yeah, I'm playing Monday. That's not what happened. Like the Cardinals even tweeted out like JJ Watt taking the podium in 10 minutes, ... It's like, okay, here's this big thing coming. And there really wasn't fucking anything come out of it. I still expect him to play, but no official word on that. As far as other guys, Rondale Moore, still questionable. Chase Edmonds, still questionable. We're waiting to hear on Marco Wilson as well. As we talked about before, Cardinals in their whole injury report shit's been hard to follow all year. So fingers crossed on all those. It's fucking playoff time. So I really do expect all of those guys to – you gotta quit. You expect all those guys to be out there. Who else? DeAndre Hopkins is not
faith
playing.
in the team is questionable.
We'll get to that whenever we get to the interview. But, playoff week. Special Wednesday episode. So that's fun. We'll be back win or lose, baby, on or I guess probably Tuesday evening because it's going to be late on Monday. I don't think I want to record.
Unless we win, I'll be popping bottles.
Maybe we'll do that if we win. But fingers crossed this is not the last game preview episode of the Cardinals 2021 season. It's a brand new year, folks. 0-0. Let's fucking get it. All right. Anything else, Garrett, before we get to the interview? That's all. Wonderful. Okay. All right. Enjoy the interview. Like, subscribe, share us on Twitter, all that fun stuff. Thanks for listening, guys. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
We will now welcome on the second/third ever guest to the Two Birds, One Stone podcast. A co-host of the Redbird Red Zone, Mac. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Thank you. I'm hoping this means I can get a follow back on your guys' podcast account now.
Maybe.
Shit.
We'll
we got to get
we'll
on.
see.
That.
We'll see if you earn it.
We'll see how this goes, I guess, and then we'll go from there. But we want to have you on for a while. It seems like you're like one of the more like level-headed Cardinals Twitter fans out there, and you built a good following because of it. So definitely happy to have you. So you're like born and raised in Arizona, right?
Yes, sir. Born and raised. Parents used to take. My dad still talks about going to the first ever Cardinals home game here against the defending champion Niners back in '88.
88. Yep.
So, yeah,
Yep.
so born and raised.
What's like the furthest back you can remember watching a game? Like what's that team like that you remember when you were a kid that's as far back as I can go?
Buddy Ryan's hiring when he brought out like the friggin' whiteboard or whatnot, and it was just commercial there. You got a winner in town and everything. So that's about as far back as I can remember. My first favorite football player growing up was Johnny Johnson, the old Cardinals running back from like the early '90s. And that was like the first autograph I ever got. But other than that, yeah, I remember not being able to watch the Cardinals on TV because they weren't sold out. So you have to listen to it on the radio.
Yeah.
Pay attention to the home game. So, boy, times have changed for sure.
Yeah, no, like being from St. Louis, that's how it was when we were kids. Like we didn't give a shit because we weren't Rams fans, but they were never selling out. So like they were blacked out, But yeah, so lots of like AZ Sports are kind of on the up with the Suns and the Cardinals. Gary, you had a Suns question?
Yeah, are they going to win at all this year? The Warriors, Clay back to start to creep up. Are you nervous at all?
Not really nervous. I feel more confident this year than I was this time last season, so that's something.
Just because they've been there?
Yeah, and then they retooled a little bit. Our biggest weakness was, a kind of a backup center, some big guys.
Yeah.
So
Added
bringing
JaVale McGee, right?
Yeah, and that's exactly who I wanted us to go after the last trade deadline. But he ended up getting moved to the Nuggets, and he rode their bench in the playoffs. So
Yeah.
hopefully, he can come here and if James Jones needs to add something at the trade deadline, I feel like he won't be shy about going out and doing it. I wouldn't expect anything too big, but I think it's definitely the Suns or the Warriors. I think those are the two top teams for sure. It's pretty clear.
Yeah. Dude, JaVale McGee, what a career roller coaster. Like at times he's been like the laughing stock, and then he's on like the dunk contest in those early Wizards years, and then champion with the Warriors and all that. It's good to see him playing well again. We're not big, like I'm not a huge NBA guy. I was always not anymore. I'm kind of embarrassed to say it. I was a LeBron guy for most of my childhood because there's not really an NBA team around. And you always just kind of like, I was like, he's our Jordan, I guess. So I'll root for him. The last few years, dude, it's been hard to keep rooting him on. Just like the constant whining and like, I don't know. It seems like it's always somebody else's fault, that kind of shit. Trading his guys away and all that. But
trading all the young guys, yeah, it's hard to respect that for sure.
So the Suns and the Cards are good, but Diamondbacks, that's tough. Coyotes, I don't know how they're playing that right now, but I know they started off pretty shitty. Not great. As a St. Louis Cardinal baseball fan, I mean, Goldschmidt, sorry, dude.
He's sweet. That sucks. Cool. That sucks for you guys. He's sweet.
He's been so consistent.
Yeah, the Diamondbacks, man, they need their prospects to come up, and especially their pitching arms. They got a lot of good young arms in the farm system, but their major league roster is just, I mean, it's a reason why they were at the very bottom of the standings last year. So hopefully the Coyotes just show me some young talent, and stop trading them away, goddamn it.
Yeah, you never like to be that, like, the little guy that's always fucking, like, the Yankees are always coming and taking those guys or that kind of thing. And I don't really know how it is in hockey, but yeah, you don't like to see that. Were they decent last year, the Coyotes?
They
didn't make the playoffs, did they?
No. They were better than obviously they are right now. They traded away their top two goalies and a handful of other starters on their team to try to rebuild for these next 2-3 years, hopefully. And I know they've already seen one of their, I think, second round picks from this last year already come up, and he's already made a pretty positive impact so far. So hopefully we're seeing more and more of that for sure.
Yeah. All right. We got to get into something. So I feel personally like you haven't done all you could have done to stop this Cardinal skid. Obviously, they start off great, and they go on a little slide. Where the hell have all the rally beer chug tweets been? I feel like they're gone. What the hell, dude? You could have stopped this whole thing you could have nipped it in the ass right after the Packers game.
Yeah, so we ended the winning streak or whatever. So I said, I'll chug next time will be when we clinch, because I don't want to be that guy who's just chugging beers, to get fucking likes. And
I don't know, dude, it works. You got hits.
There are a lot of people who don't like it. I don't know if you saw the Suns fans and shit. Yeah,
that's the thing. I'm intertwined with the Suns, and I'm here for the Cardinals. So like, I've become like a default. Like, I'll root for the Suns now, but like, I'm not here for that.
So what I'll do is I'll make an announcement right now. Is we'll do a pregame chug before Monday Night Football to try to get the mojo.
We gotta have it. That's perfect. Right. But you understand
hold me to it. Absolutely. I might forget, so you better hold me to it.
I'll hold you to it. But you understand that like if we're trailing at half, that means like another one. So
that's double chug right there, right? You got a double chug at that point.
Good.
But yeah, I said that after the winning streak, I was like, okay, next chug is gonna be when we clinch, and then we backed into the playoffs. I was like, well, I'm not gonna fucking chug after
what
we
are you gonna do?
Back
chug because the Vikings lose.
Yeah, and then I was waiting Sunday. I had it ready to go. If we would have won the division, it would have been fucking right there, and it just. Do we have to talk about that game? Do we?
No, I don't. We're on to the. We already did our Seahawks recap.
Yeah,
man. We're not.
Yeah. Good.
We're not touching on that. But, yeah.
How you guys holding up? How you guys holding up with the Cardinals? You guys still holding in your faith, or what? You a little disappointed right now?
I'll let Garrett take
I'm kind of I don't know if you listened at all last week, but I lost all my faith whenever like Kyler's taken a big dip on me. Like I thought so highly of him going into the season, throughout the season, but these past like through the losing streak and through these past like couple weeks, he's went from here to down here to me. I just hate. We kind of talked about LeBron and how he bitches about calls and shit like that. I see so much of that in Kyler. It's tough as electric as he is to watch. Whenever I see that kind of shit, it bugs me to no end. So whenever this past game was the worst I've seen out of him, it kind of diminished any kind of hopes I had because they look piss poor. I mean, I get it. It's the Seahawks. They've kind of had a number for the past couple of years, but there's no excuse. There's no excuse at all.
No, I agree with that. The body language. I would rather have him, get in people's faces than sitting on the sidelines by himself.
Yeah.
Grumpy cat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get into AJ Green's face.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel who knows what's happening in the locker room, at halftime and whatnot. But I do feel like you see him just sitting there by himself, kind of pouting. And people bring up, well, nobody said anything when Tom Brady does it. Tom Brady also gets in his player's face in front of everyone. That kind of lights a fire sometimes. So that's the one thing I would like. But thankfully, it's a new season now, and hopefully, Kyler. It seems like we have our full strength offensive line. And I know DJ Humphries is coming off what I think was the worst game of his career.
Bad.
But I think there's a reason why you're seeing in NBA and especially the NBA, but where people come off COVID and then they're out for another couple games due to conditioning. So I'm gonna give him. I know he said he was asymptomatic and felt great, but when you take off almost nearly 2 weeks and towards the end of the season, you come back against some of the best athletes in the world. I'm gonna chalk that up as an outlier, and hopefully DJ Humphries and that offensive line step up because I feel like that was the thing that Kyler got hit early in that game.
Yeah.
And then that kind of threw him off. He wasn't going through his reads, it looked like.
Yeah.
He was almost seeing ghosts. And I know people say that about rookies, but when you're a young player anyways, he doesn't like to get hit. He's not, he definitely doesn't want to get blindsided by anybody. So I think that was in his head. And hopefully from the get-go, we got Aaron Donald and the Rams coming up. Hopefully that can get situated by Monday night.
Yeah, and I think that is a good point that you made about Humphries. It's very easy to forget when we're sitting on the couch and it's like that score bug comes across the line on ESPN. So-and-so tested positive for COVID. You're like, okay, fuck. Is it 5 days now, 10 days now? Let's hurry him up. Let's get it back in. As much political bullshit as there is still an illness to it. So, I mean, you never know how long it's going to take for a guy to get 100% back, and right. But, yeah, I don't know. I said this a couple times on the podcast. Kyler is not obviously your typical quarterback, and he's not your typical leader, face of the franchise guy. He's fucking an introvert. He's kind of a gamer nerd. He's his own kind of guy. So it's going to take him a little bit to figure out all the other shit that comes with it. So as I've said before, it's wearing a little thinner. I think I noticed it more in the Seahawks game than I literally have ever, with the body language shit and the clip of him slamming his helmet on the sideline. I saw that. And again, we don't know what it's about. Who knows? Maybe it's warranted, but I'm going to be as patient as possible. But like I said, it's going to get a little thinner, especially we'll see what happens on fucking Monday night. But
yeah, I think it's kind of definitely important to put in there that this is all from the face value. That there could be other shit that goes on behind the scenes that completely make us look like dumbasses. But this is all from the face value, which is all we get. So that's kind of right. You have to kind of take it for what it's worth.
Right. Okay. So what's the general vibe for the game, dude? What's the your thoughts? Just your just general feeling heading into Monday night.
I feel like we're going to come out like the best road team in the NFL. The one game that we lost on the road was in Detroit. You guys don't need to lecture on Detroit, not the Lions Stadium, not being a raucous environment, but it feels like the Cardinals players thrive off of that a little bit. Yeah. Them against the world. And I don't know if that plays in why we struggle at home, just because it's just a more friendly environment. Even when the Packers fans, raided in, or all these other teams kind of raided in our house, it's not like it is on the road. So I'm hoping we come out there. I expect there to be some jitters early on, but I am holding out hope that we'll see some Kyler magic in the second half, because I saw a post today. I forget who posted it, but they're like, win or go home. Who you taking? Kyler Murray, Matthew Stafford. And honestly, I'll take Kyler Murray all day over Matthew Stafford in a win or go home.
Exactly.
Of course, there's a bunch of other variables and whatnot, but I think it's going to kind of come down to which quarterback plays the best between the two.
And even amidst like the skid that the Cardinals have been on, I mean, Kyler's numbers aren't bad. Like, Kyler's not playing particularly poor. Matthew Stafford has been. Even the Rams wins, it's 8 picks over the last 4 games or something like that. So heading into the playoffs, I saw something that was like, I think it's similar to you. ESPN was doing the same thing. Like, who do you trust more, the Cardinals or the Rams? Because as bad as the Cardinals have been, the Rams haven't been playing great either. And it came down to Stafford or Kyler. And one guy, I don't remember who it was. It might have been fucking Orlovsky, who's really fallen out of grace for me. He used to be a big Kyler guy, and he's really jumped off the bandwagon. But he was like, I'm taking Stafford every day because of the experience. And I paused. I'm like, what fucking experience? He's been in the playoffs twice. He's been bounced every single time. Like, he's choked every single time he's been in the spot. So I don't really know what you're talking about. So if you're taking experience out of the equation and just going off of like who's the better quarterback, I think it's fairly easy to say that it's Kyler, I think, at this point. But
yeah. And like with similar to Matthew Stafford, I feel like Kyler is starting to get this label that the Cardinals can't really win the big games with him. I don't think we've won a primetime game yet. But right. And it's the same with Cliff too. I mean, this isn't just, it's not just all in a vacuum. These guys have growth. And Cliff is still learning as a coach, as a head coach in the NFL. Kyler is still learning. He's in his year 3. And, heading into this year, I was just hoping he would take a Josh Allen type leap in that year 3, like Allen did last season. Yeah. And he has. The offensive line's been shaky. He loses his number 1 wide receiver. His number 2, AJ Green, is, you can't trust him back-to-back plays, it seems like. So you're relying on James Conner in the run game, a tight end, Zach Ertz, who I feel like has been great for Kyler. And Christian Kirk is really our wild card. He's a down. I feel like he's the explosive guy when Rondale Moore isn't there. So there are a lot of variables going in, and I don't blame anyone who has been a little bit down on Kyler recently, but this even goes to the defense as well. The defense has to play better, and it's got to start Monday night.
Right. It's been poor.
I kind of want to say too, I've never, the only down on Kyler I've been so far is the body language and the leadership type stuff. I've always thought and always will think he's a top 5, top 7 quarterback in the league. His skill level has never been in question. I mean, there's been a couple, especially in the past recent skid. There's been a couple off throws here and there, but you'll have, like you said, he's a young quarterback in year 3. I still will not doubt his skill level or the way he plays quarterback. It's just the leadership is kind of what I was looking at. But go ahead, Trent.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was going to say something about Kirk. Like, Kirk it's really kind of like with AJ Green's struggles. I think it's in a contract year. I wouldn't say he's had a down year. I think it could have been better. You look at the final numbers, and I think what did he have? 80 something catches, under 1,000, and 7 touchdowns, maybe less. I should have took a screenshot of the stats, but those are good numbers. But like when Hopkins is out and you're having inconsistencies with AJ Green and Rondale Moore isn't there because of an injury, and Ertz is really the only other threat. Ertz isn't the guy that's really pushing downfield. Like, he's had like back-to-back games with like 7 or more catches. He's been great, but that's not his game. I think Kirk's got to have a very big game on Monday for us, our offense, to be successful and to really take that top off. Because we've heard What, the fucking Rams just went out and had like the most desperate signing of all time, adding Eric Weddle, 37-year-old who's not played for 2 years. Like, that's a secondary that you're going to have to try and take advantage of with their injuries back there. And for us to capitalize on that, it's going to be largely due to Christian Kirk. So
no doubt. And he's got to come down with those, those deep passes. I feel like he gets a couple deep passes a game, and it feels like almost once a game or every other game, the ball just hits off his hand. It's a tough catch, but you're getting paid millions of dollars. You're a millionaire. You got to step up.
Right. You always hear like you get a hand on it, you got to catch it, but that might be a little tough. But you get 2 on it, you better catch fucking football. And there's been a couple times where it's been just right there, a good ball where the only spot that Kyler can put it. That doesn't mean it's an easy catch, but fuck, I always go back to that first drive on Christmas Day against the Colts. It's like a 3rd and 3, and he gets I think he's on the inside and he does a little out and up, and Kyler throws a perfect ball on the right shoulder and he just doesn't come down with it. And everybody's bitching, why are you throwing it deep on 3rd and short? It's like, why don't you fucking make the catch? Like, that's why you throw it deep, because it was the play was there. They just didn't execute. But
and to that, I do want to see the Cardinals be aggressive to start the game. Mix it, I don't think the Rams are going to be coming out expecting that. They're going to have we heard an injury update on James Conner yet today? Have you guys seen
No, I haven't seen anything.
I haven't heard much. I would assume I think his status is more likely than Edmonds right now. Edmonds seems pretty shaky still from what Cliff says, but that's the other thing. We don't know anything. The Cardinals they've been hiding everything all year with these injuries.
I would like to see us kind of try to take the top off or that first drive though. I feel like that's kind of what the Cardinals did in 2008. Kurt Warner in that playoff run right off the bat. I think we had that
flea flicker.
Yep, exactly. I want to mix it up like that too. Take your shots. I feel like the Rams are the team with the most pressure here between us.
Yeah.
If the Rams get knocked out, you brought in Stafford. You traded a first and Goff. Your quarterback.
I think 2 firsts.
And no one before the season predicted us to win a Super Bowl. A lot of people thought that Stafford was going to put the Rams over the hump. So I feel like McVay, Stafford, all that pressure should be on them. So come out and light it up, try to light it up right off the bat and see what that right there should hopefully, if you can connect, should hopefully open up underneath stuff in the run, especially if Connor and Edmonds are banged up. Help them out a little bit. Don't be rushing, right. I know it's with Twitter, everyone's like, Cliff needs to run the ball more. Yes, of course. But you have to take your shots as well. And like we talked to, these guys have to come down when their number is called. They got to bring down the ball.
Right.
I'm kind of curious on your thought about, so here's a wild scenario. Let's say that the Cardinals do end up losing on Monday. As Cliff isn't on the hot seat, and for the rest of the season, are you in agreement? Like, do you agree with that? He's cool. Like, he'll get the next season.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No doubt about it. I'm not changing the goalpost from preseason when I predicted or I said that Cliff and Kime, they need to make the playoffs or else, can't be wasting these early years of Kyler.
Right.
And just because we started 7-0, you start 7-0 and then you lose JJ Watt, you lose DeAndre Hopkins, and then from there it just kind of snowballs. And I know a lot of that people just love going after Cliff, and I'm not going to do that. We've seen progress. I know people are talking this week. Is it a success if the Cardinals lose this weekend in the first round? And honestly, I'm of the belief, like, when you're a pro athlete or in any sport, it's only a success unless you're just like, nobody counted you in it to begin with. It's only a success if you win the whole fucking thing, But that's not what the whole goal was entering the season. It's let's see progress. Let's 3rd year jump. We need to fucking see it, and we have. But that makes this 4th year that much more important, because if we start off slow, if we hit a slide right off the bat, then there needs to be some internal conversations. But right now, I'm bringing the game back for sure.
So going into the 4th year, if we do end up losing on Monday or whatever, I'm just kind of curious on your opinion. If we do end up losing on Monday, is it playoffs or bust again, or is it a deep playoff run or bust, or I'm not sure kind of my even thoughts on it. I'm curious what you have to say.
I think that will kind of be more defined once next season comes about, once we see who we add. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the whole thought process is you don't want to have a Browns type season where you're 4 now and you just fall off. And, people want to, and I don't think it's going to happen here, but people don't want Baker there. I mean, that wasn't the conversation last year. You just see how quick things fall off.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, everything is predicated on the playoffs from here on out, for sure. I think that, we expect more next year than what we should expect this year. And so forth. Year 4 of a superstar quarterback like Kyler, like you said, top 5 quarterback in the league. You can't just be making the playoffs and getting bounced all the time. So, but that conversation is also, heading in towards next year, and hopefully, Cliff and all the players can kind of put this behind them and win this week and, make it a non-factor.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I get the whole, you got to walk before you can run. You slow build, and okay, now we're in the playoffs. And if you would have told me before the season starts, hey, they're going 11-6, they make it to the playoffs, they lose to the Rams on the road in round 1, I'd be like, okay, progress, we move forward. It's the expectations where they were mid-season, where it's like, we were talking last week, and it's like, what's more disappointing, 3-13 or starting 7-0, when your hopes are, we have the highest Super Bowl odds right now. Like, this is here right in front of us. We're have this start, and then you kind of blow it. Let's say they do lose and they're out of it. It's like, I'd 100% rather be like more disappointed with that than, okay, we won 3 games. It was never really there. But like you said, hindsight, this year, still looking back, once you kind of sift through all the shit, would still be a step forward in the big picture. But it's hard to get past those emotions.
And honestly, I honestly have the same feelings today as I had the Suns entering the playoffs last year.
Really?
Because the Suns, they started off so fucking great after their little 8-8 start last season. Took the league by storm. But then towards the end of the year, it seemed like they kind of hit a little funk. They weren't, as dominant. They were losing to teams that they should beat, and they've done a much better job this year. But there were signs where, okay, this isn't the perfect team as we all kind of thought. But once you hit the playoffs, like, I didn't expect us to make a finals run, but it was that progress. It was getting there. And it wasn't, okay, do we need because I remember on the radio they were talking, okay, the Suns are what, the number 1, number 2 seed. If they get bounced in the first round, is this season a failure? And it's like, no, it's not a failure. You got to have some perspective. You know what I mean? But they were able to put all the fucking noise and, put their head down, and they went to work, and they hopefully set a little pathway for the Cardinals to do the same thing. Because, the Suns had to overcome the LA teams. They did that. Here we go. Bring on the fucking Rams. Let's do this. Best road team in the NFL going into LA. That place isn't that, it's not like you're going into the dog pound, or you're going into some of these,
much different.
Yeah, and even then, Cardinals do well in those environments. So it is really hard to say, but I hope they do kind of follow that path of the Suns, is where a lot of people are like, well, they have such a great season, but, it's a failure if they lose. Just shut us up. Just go out there, beat fucking LA, and then you're truly playing with house money at that point.
Right. It's so weird what that does. Like, a playoff win changes everything. Even if they go out and they lose by fucking 30 to the Packers the week after or whatever, for some reason in my mind, is going out and winning a playoff game just as like, okay, that's such a big step. I mean, another thing we're leaving out of this is we're the fucking Arizona Cardinals. Like, we haven't been in the playoffs in 6 years. We have had you can count on your hand how many playoffs wins we have in like our history. Like, and you don't want to have that kind of mindset. Like, oh, we've not had a lot of success in the past, so like we have to weigh it on a certain scale. But like, that is kind of part of it in your head. Like, I guess maybe that's why just a playoff win to me would be like, okay, now this season wasn't for nothing.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the first time we've ever had a franchise quarterback,
Right.
Or not this season, but these last couple seasons. So it's like you're not just here with a Carson Palmer where it's like, fuck, his time is running out here. Or Kurt Warner. It's like, they could retire any moment. So it would be great for us fans to be able to look back on this season fondly, no matter how it ends. If we don't end up with a ring, but to think like, okay, we started 7-0, things got a little sloppy and dicey, but we came out, we beat the Rams in LA, and the future is still very bright. So that's just kind of the mindset I'm holding on to. I was a fan of this team when it was a mockery to be a fan of this team. I remember getting made fun of in middle school for wearing Jake Plummer fucking jerseys. And my best friend, literally my best friend, first day in Spanish, he was wearing a Cardinals jersey. And I swear to God, I don't think I ever saw anybody at our school wear a fucking Cardinals jersey. So right away, after class, we're walking out. I'm like, yo, man, nice jersey. And became best friends.
That is wild to me. That you're in Arizona and it was that rare.
It was a third world country going to Sun Devil Stadium.
What was the shift? I'm sure it's different now. Obviously this year, especially with the start, they come out of the woodwork when they're success. But when was the first shift where it's like, okay, they're not St. Louis's team anymore. Like they're ours. And this is the Arizona Cardinals and the fans are starting to show.
So I think that first one was the 1998 playoff run.
Yeah.
I remember sitting on my couch, not being able to watch it, listening to the radio. Chris Jackie makes a 52-yarder and fucking going nuts. And then the next week you go into Dallas and you beat, the Holy Cowboys.
Yeah.
And then I think that second kind of shift was when the stadium was built, for sure.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Once the stadium was built, man, it felt like home finally.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is bittersweet for us. Our dad grew up a Cardinals fan in St. Louis or whatever. So the Cardinals leave and he doesn't have a team. So it's 10 years till the Rams come. So he just sticks with the Cardinals. When we went to the Cardinals game, we went to Arizona. We flew out to watch the Browns, Kyler's rookie year, late in the year. It was December and they won that game. But when we got there, it's like, holy shit, look at all this red. We've never seen so many Cardinals.
I didn't know that. I didn't know so many Cardinals fans existed. I had no idea. Yeah, it was crazy.
Are you guys both in St. Louis or?
We're actually brothers.
Well,
so
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So
nice. Oh yeah.
Yeah. But that was awesome. Hopefully we get to go back. But
is your dad still a Cardinal fan?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Die hard.
Shout out Pops.
If you're listening, Roy.
Glad
to have you on.
Send me the link. I'm like, I don't think it's gonna be out tonight, but okay.
That's funny.
Yeah, he would call me yesterday. He's like, because he knows we just moved in and this extra room we have is going to be my game room or man cave or whatever. So he all called me yesterday. He's like, we got that Larry Fitzgerald signed jersey here and the whole frame and everything. Come pick it up. Like, you're goddamn right, Dad. So
I'll be right over, dude.
So last time, fucking trying to get this thing up and the whole rest of my place is a pigsty, but at least I got the signed Fitz jersey up.
It looks beautiful right there. You mentioned local radio hosts a few minutes ago. John Gombardo. I don't know them. I don't listen to the man. I don't go out of my way to see his takes, but immediately when you see it, he tweets out something like, there's a more than decent chance that DeAndre Hopkins finds a way to play on Monday. And then there's almost, the tweet got circled around. I'm like, I know people hate this guy. He's probably kind of a clown, but he's putting it out there. It's such a bold take. It's not like he would just throw it out there for no reason. Maybe there's some truth. And then you had this little source off with Kyle Odegaard comes on and tweets this morning. He's like, local radio host John Gombardo said on air Monday, DeAndre Hopkins was probably going to play on the Wildcard game versus the Rams. That won't happen. And in fact, the all-pro wide receiver is not expected back at any point of postseason. So it's like these two guys and Cardinals, with the blue check marks, this, but and then Kyle Odegaard just comes in from the top rope, no, what are you talking about? No chance. What's it like listen, like, what are those guys out there like? Like, I hear a bunch of bullshit about it. Like, do you just tune them out, or when you're cruising in the car, do you flip it on ESPN Tucson or whatever it is and give it an ear?
Yeah. So I mean, we run. Me and my brother run our family small business. So we have local radio. We have the Arizona sports on basically 24/7, except for like days after games. I think we're both kind of like, let's just throw on our days after losses.
Yeah.
We're like, let's just throw on fucking music or whatever. And to be honest, they have some decent ones. Vince Morata is really good. But I feel like John Gambadoro, Dan Bickley, at least they used to. I feel like they almost had more of a shtick. You know what I mean? It was like they're kind of like a shock jock almost to an extent. You know, trying to stay out
guys like that.
Yeah, because even last year, I know one of them had that Dan Bickley. They would have Cliff Kingsbury on for his weekly radio show. You know.
Yeah.
And so when Cliff would come on, he would be all cordial with the questions and everything. And then when Cliff leaves, he fucking bashes them.
Of course.
And so, of course, now I'm blocked now because of that. Because I would fucking call him out on Twitter.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm blocked by the fucking the morning show now. But it just feels like, I know that Gambo, it feels like he always wants to be the first to report it. So there are some stupid ass shit. And he's right. I'd say he's right probably 90% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But on that DeAndre Hopkins one, I mean, we just saw him Sunday in crutches.
Yeah.
You know, on the
bad.
Like I feel like somebody within the organization is just kind of sick of his shit and kind of just like threw him that little bone and he ran with it and to make him look like a fool. And I mean, he really does look pretty foolish.
He did look like a fool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of guys that might just kind of throw takes against the wall for take's sake, did Two Birds, One Stone lose street cred for having Johnny Venerable on?
No, I mean, that's a good get for you guys. I mean, I know for our podcast, we've had British Bird Gang on, and we're going to be having No Context Cardinals.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised.
He's the biggest one out there, dude. He's like, everything he puts out gets fucking hundreds of like interactions and likes and shit. He's good. It's funny shit.
No, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. It's tough out there, man. Like, you know, we've been around fucking 3 years and we have, 100 subscribers, so it's like
triple digits, baby.
Get bigger names on. Like, I'm not bashing anyone for any of that. I mean, he's got a pretty fucking cool or, cush gig where he's at right now.
Oh yeah, man.
So no, props to you guys. That's a decent get for sure.
He really was. I mean, when he was on, he was cool to us. He was very cordial, awesome. Nice
Nothing
about it.
Bad to say.
I mean, I've been blocked by him since he said what. And if you're listening, Johnny, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to bash you or anything like that.
I promise you, he's not.
But when he said, where would the Cardinals be if they drafted Drew Brees or over Larry Fitzgerald?
It was Eli Manning. I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. And it was like, don't even fucking bring that up. Like,
we got the greatest Cardinal in team history, the best one to ever wear the bird on his helmet. There's no room for hypotheticals here. Like, Eli Manning wasn't great. He was carried by defenses.
Exactly.
And most of those. He had a couple Pro Bowlers. But you can't throw that hypothetical out there.
I just feel like sometimes he throws a lot of shit on Twitter just to kind of rile people up, and good for him. I mean, it is.
Whenever I had him on, because whenever I DM'd him, I thought I was surprised I wasn't blocked. Because even like as recently as when he was hired by PHNX, I quote tweeted the video that he sent out, and I was like, I disagree with everything he says, but this looks pretty sick. And I DM'd him, and after a little bit, he's been a little more subdued this year. I think it seems like he's more he's at the spot. He's at the fucking peak. He's got
you don't have to.
He's fucking traveling to games and reporting on sidelines. He doesn't have to throw out limb boyish shit anymore to get noticed. Yeah. So I feel like he's kind of better this season as a fan. But I told him, I was like, I said some shit, that was good. Like not good at all. I apologize. I do appreciate the angle of you taking this year. Would you want to come on on our show or whatever for a bye week thing? And he said, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool,
Right.
whatever. But yeah, like I said, it went well, but I thought that was funny. For sure. Garrett, any closing questions for our friend here?
What's your over under for Cooper Kupp's receiving yards on Monday?
Fuck. So I was going through stuff. Usually I watch the previous game before jumping on it, and I just haven't been able to even watch that.
Yeah.
But one of my biggest things is that I need to see Byron Murphy kind of step up and be the guy who Steve Keim thought he was going to be, or who he had earlier this year.
Yeah.
He's the main reason, let's be honest, he's the main reason why Patrick Peterson is not here.
Yeah.
Right. If
Patrick Peterson was willing to take a little bit less of money, that's one thing, but I feel like when you draft a cornerback and he's in year 3 at as high as we drafted Byron Murphy, second round, you're expecting him to step in that role year 3. Right. I was just going over a few things. The first 11 weeks of the year, Byron Murphy gave up 70% catches in a game only twice. Yeah. So, there's 11 games, only 9 times he kept it, and most of them are like 50% or, 60, in between 50 and 60.
You saw it. He was playing well.
Yeah, he was at the beginning of the season. He was the guy. He was playing his ass off. He was an all-pro Pro Bowler at the beginning of the season. It's just, I don't know what switched or what happened. I don't know if it's the loss of a couple other guys around him or what. But no, yeah, I'm not sure what happened.
So these last 6 weeks, he's given up 70%. So 6 weeks, 70% or more 5 times out of the last 6 games.
Yeah.
So that is something we need to see. We need him to step up and be looking like the leader on that defense, looking like he's turning a corner again. Because that'll erase this whole second half of the season, like you guys said. If we could just find a way to win.
It takes one game.
You'll kill a lot of demons just finding a way to win. One more fucking.
So I'm gonna answer that for him, Garrett. I think he said Cooper Kupp 93 yards.
Ooh, I'd take the over on that all fucking day.
I'd probably take the over under on that, or the over.
I was probably a pretty generous over under for sure. Yeah. I would say
that guy's unreal.
The second best receiving of all time.
But it's crazy because I saw a video. I don't know who put it out. It wasn't like an Arizona guy. It was just a ESPN type guy. They were going through like the list. Would you rather have DeAndre Hopkins or Cooper Kupp? And then they'd say DeAndre Hopkins. Would you rather have Devontae Adams or Cooper Kupp? They'd say Devontae Adams. Would you rather have Amari Cooper or Cooper Kupp? They'd say Amari Cooper. He's not like the best, but I just feel like McVay has cultivated this offense for him to where he's force-fed the ball so precisely and it's so efficient to where he gets all these stats and crazy numbers. I don't think he's the most skilled receiver, probably not even like a top 5 receiver in the league. McVay's just put him in such a good spot to succeed.
And he is, he is an elite route runner for sure.
Yeah,
and like you said, McVay, some of the schemes that they designed, the crossing routes and everything, gets DBs fucking mixed up, and they do a hell of a job for sure.
Well, week 4, he only had 5 catches for 64 yards, guys.
Yeah,
I had to look it up. I knew it was mediocre. I want to say that was probably his lowest in each of those totals in a game this year. But what was the last game?
And I'm gonna say over because the Cardinals are gonna be blowing them motherfuckers out, so they're gonna be one.
That's what they're gonna have to do.
Keep it positive.
I have to find this because it's gonna drive me crazy. What week do they play again? 15?
14.
14. Oh yeah, that's right. I thought I hit.
And now, so week 14,
13, 123 and a score. So he got
that was the last time the Cardinals offense threw for 300 yards too. So hopefully they found something towards that, in that game that they can kind of exploit, especially if Eric Waddle or whatever is going to be playing significant. I can't imagine he's going to be playing a ton of snaps.
It wouldn't make any sense. People were like, "Oh, he's going back to the defensive scheme." It's not the same scheme. No, Brandon Staley's gone. It's Raheem Morris.
37 years old.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
2 years. So
that'll be interesting to see for sure. But I hope he fails and falls flat on his face. All right, we'll let you go with this. I don't know if you do this or not. We'll just give you, all right, here's the floor score prediction.
All righty. So I think the Cardinals are going to come out, take some shots early. I hope they do. I think it's going to be big for us to get an early lead, but I do think it's going to be a shootout. I'm going to go 34-31 Cardinals, and we win by a last-second Matt Prater field goal.
Ooh, is it a 50-yarder?
Woo-hoo! 52, baby.
I love it.
And the season is automatically a success. Fuck yeah. I mean, we'd all take that 100%. What a thrilling ESPN game to wrap up Wildcard weekend. That would be great for the NFL. Not great that their golden boy Rams would be knocked out, but fuck them. So awesome.
Okay.
Well, man, we appreciate this so much. We're glad to have you on. Maybe we can hop on with you guys sometime over on Redbird Red Zone, maybe in the off season, or maybe a Super Bowl preview episode, when we make it.
I like it.
But hell yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys, man. I appreciate jumping on with you guys. You guys are both intelligent. I can tell you guys are diehard. Shout out to your pops for raising you guys the right way after the Rams left. So.
Shout out, Roy.
All right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. Awesome. Well, take care. We'll be in touch.
Yeah. Have a good night, guys.
Yep. Thanks. You too.
Later.